In the last Hokuto video, I covered how Kenshiro wiped out the Golden Army. I also promised to talk about how Kenshiro fought Satan. Okay, so it isn't Satan, but it kinda is. Sort of. You'll understand as the video goes on. The story starts with a boy walking through highway ruins alone. There's no active traffic, so it should be safe, right? No. The sun is beaming on him. The heat dehydrating him. The light almost blinding him. This highway is a ruined one, so it's destroyed. He's about to walk off a cliff. Luckily, Kenshiro arrives just in time to rescue him. Gives him some water and just leaves after that. Had the boy wondering if he was God. Had me wondering why he would leave the boy in the desert alone. But we move on. In between this arc and the last, Kenshiro sends Rin and Bat away from the Golden Army base and back to the bar that seems to be their new headquarters against the bartender's wishes, while he wipes out the rest of the army off screen. We begin the new arc with Kenshiro returning to said bar. Golden has fallen. As they gossip in the bar, two goons overheard this and they want to recruit Kenshiro into their little gang. Sometimes Bat likes to act like Kenshiro's manager, and it's worked in the past. He'll act like he's helping someone out for food and then have Kenshiro do the heavy work. It didn't work this time because they just bitch slap him across the fucking bar. When I first began this series long ago, I thought Bat was a bit of an ass, but god damn, that was unnecessary. I'm surprised Kenshiro didn't snap right there. Maybe he thought he deserved it too. They aren't gonna get away with it though, cause they started putting hands on Ken, rubbing all up on him, trying to see his physique by undressing him. Ken isn't about that. He just backhands dude and sends him flying even further than he sent Bat. The man flies through a curtain, only to reveal a man ass naked in the tub. What is wrong with this establishment, bro? Dude's friend was about to attack Ken, only for the ass naked man to tell him to stand down. His name is Jackal. Turns out the bozos wanted Ken to work under Jackal, a man willing to bathe ass naked in the middle of a public establishment. The boy that Ken saved earlier enters the bar, only to get roasted for being dirty. Even Bat calls him grimy, which is crazy considering what's happening to the world right now. But you know what? He must have been pretty grimy, cause after he wipes his face, Bat recognizes him. Turns out this dusty ass boy's name is Taki. Taki is as dusty as a bag of Takis, just covered in hot spicy Cheeto dust. It turns out Bat and Taki are from the same orphanage. Unfortunately, the village where the orphanage is located is now empty. The water well has dried up, causing all of the villagers to migrate to another location with water. Due to housing too many children to travel through a smeltering hot desert, the orphanage remained behind and without water. The head of the orphanage knows that the village holds water, but is unable to dig a new well due to running into bedrock. They need someone strong enough to break through, and Ken is the man for the job. Unfortunately, Jackal heard everything from his tub and plans to steal the water for he and his crew, but first, he must administer punishment. A rule has been broken. Never pick a fight with someone stronger than you. The two men involved with slapping Bat around the bar and getting slapped themselves broke said rule, so Jackal just presses their faces against each other, applying more and more pressure, until smashing their heads together into a bloody pulp. Man is strong, abnormally so. I actually forgot he did this. This is, I didn't know he was built like that. This is kind of crazy, actually. Huh. The gang makes it over to the village and meets the head of the orphanage, Toyo, over at the new well. Funnily enough, she and Bat start beefing the moment they lay eyes on each other. Toyo pours water for everyone, allowing them to enter her home, but none for herself. This lady has been sacrificing her hydration for the kids. Unfortunately, Taki notices this and decides to take matters into his own hands. In the early hours of the next day, while everyone was still asleep, Taki leaves the village and heads towards a neighboring one to steal a little canteen of water from their well. Unfortunately, he is caught as he is leaving. Dude on a bike pulls up, straight up shoots an arrow through the child's heart, only for Kenshiro to pull up and split his head with a karate chop. Taki felt that Toyo would die in less than 2 days without water. He believed that the well wouldn't be done in time. Just like my bag of Takis that are now empty, the boy's life has run out. They really killed this 7-year-old kid over a sip of water. Next day, Ken goes down to the well and releases the water beneath the bedrock with one punch. Taki thought this was going to be a whole construction project. Kid died for no reason. The village now has water. Ken warns Toyo not to let anyone know about the water or bandits will pull up. Jackal already knows. Unfortunately, most of his men are stupid. 2 of them bum rush for the well. Kenshiro's a nice guy and tells him, drink some water, leave, and forget you ever saw the well here. Don't tell anyone. Dude got in Ken's face. Bad move. Now his nose is pointing to the right. And because Ken just flicked it with his finger and broke his shit. Let the ass beating commence. Dudes are getting beat the hell up. The Hokuto finger bolts of emptiness erases days of memories from their minds. While they stand there as temporary vegetables, Ken orders Bat to throw them into the desert. It's time for Kenshiro to leave. When he does, Jackal waits for him to get a far enough distance away before bum rushing the water well yet again. This time, it's a raid. Little did they know, Toyo is packing fucking heat. Shoots at Jackal, grazes the man in the head. Bad move. Man opens his jacket, revealing a vest strapped with dynamite. She can't do shit. She has no choice but to stand there and get stabbed. Man stabbed her in the right side so she would die slow. Can't let her miss the death of the kids. They already got the noose ready. Had one dude to hang a kid, only for himself to get hung by Kenshiro. He heard that gunshot and came back. The child is saved by Bat as the man is hung to death in his place. A pro boxer pulls up. He wants to throw hands with Ken. Ken pokes a few pressure points in his arm as he throws the straight, and his joints are crushed. Face caved in by one punch, he is killed. That is one hell of a career ender. Here's the problem though. Jackal isn't like all of the opponents Ken has faced before. He doesn't want the smoke. He's doing everything in his power to stay away from this man. After seeing the boxer get bodied, it pretty much verified to him that Kenshiro was using Hokuto Shinken. He knew what it was. So he has his right hand man, Fox, take 2 kids hostage with some dynamites, sticks it in the back of their shirts, and sends them running in 2 separate directions. Ken saves one, but the other is too far for him to save. That's when Toyo grabs and saves the kid, grabbing the dynamite from his shirt and tossing it, only to get fucking blasted, shielding the kid from the mid-air detonation. This old lady got smoked. Bat calls her mom for the first time before she dies. You already know what timing Kenshiro is on now. Jackal must die. Kenshiro returns to the headquarters, the bar. This poor bartender, man. First he has to give his alcohol away for free to Nazis. Then he has a man bathing ass naked in the middle of his establishment. Now he has to take care of all the kids from the orphanage for an entire month. If he fails to do this, or if Kenshiro doesn't return within a month's time, he will explode. This businessman is a victim of his own success, and it just may cost him his life. 2 men are sitting together near a campfire. One of them hears something, reaches to grab an axe, only for a foot to step on his grimy hand. Kenshiro is hunting for Jackal's men, and he wants to know if he's a part of the crew. Instead of answering, the axe guy chooses violence, pretty much confirming that they are a part of Jackal's gang. Ken kicks the man's chin so hard, his brain flies out from the back of his head. Other dude is shook, trying to tell Ken that yeah, they work for Jackal, but they didn't do shit at that orphanage. And you know what? He was actually telling the truth. And he could have went home if there wasn't a father and son lying dead at his feet. But Ken lets him go. You know, he tells him to deliver a message to Jackal. And he does. Because the moment he pulls up to Jackal, his head is blown in 2. But Jackal isn't shook. Because he has his right hand man Fox and some other scouts in the area where Kenshiro is located. It isn't that he thinks Fox is going to win. You see, while Fox and the other dudes are getting killed, he can travel as far away as he can on his motorcycle. He did Fox Slime. We cut the fox's body lying on the ground. Villagers with spears pull up. They can tell by the way he looks that he's a bandit, so they're just going to stab him just to make sure he's dead. The moment they stab at him, Fox's body just disappears as if he did a Z-vanish. He's just gone. They couldn't see him move because he was just that fast. He was above them, and so were their heads, because he just decapitates all of them with a 360 spin using his blades. Fox is a martial artist, a practitioner of Chotoken, leaping blade of the grounded fist. A dead villager is slumped against the wall. So Fox just walks up to him, pulls his dick out, and pisses all over him. A hand breaks through the concrete wall he was pissing against, grabbing him by the dome. Kenshiro caught him with his dick out, pulls this dude's dome through the wall, and drags him through the concrete. The fact that he gets out of this with a bloody mouth and his jaw isn't hanging is crazy. Homie tries to fight back, but he gets mollywopped immediately. He's begging for his life already. To prove that he is indeed defenseless, he lays down on his back, just like he did for the villagers before beheading them. Kenshiro ain't about that, so he just leaves. Comes back with a giant boulder and throws it into the ground. Fox had no choice but to vanish, but Kenshiro expected this. Fox is vulnerable in midair because his back is facing the ground. Ken lays down and holds this man up with his feet. He wants to know where Jackal is, and Fox has no choice but to tell him, because Ken hit a pressure point on his back that forces him to talk against his will. The healing and exploding people make sense, but this is just mind control at this point. I call hacks. Fox unwillingly tells Ken that Jackal is heading for a place called Villainy Prison. Corny name. Fox tries to attack Ken, only to get lightning kicks to the point that he is sent flying to a wall so hard, the back of his dome just goes splat on impact. He's dead. We cut back to Jackal, while Fox is being killed. He travels very, very far away. He enters a bar that's very familiar with him. As he demands free water from the bartender laughs at his ass. He ain't giving him shit. Why? Well, Fox's dead body's in the bar. These dudes traveled so far on motorcycle just for Kenshiro to catch up by foot. The men are shook. They tried to board their motorbikes, only to find that someone had drained the gas from their tanks empty. That's okay, they have a dude in the truck. Some of Jackal's men rush to the truck, only for the truck driver's head to explode. They're cooked. A dead body falls on top of them. Kenshiro is standing on top of the roof of the bar. They're so shook that they all turn on Jackal. They think that if they kill Jackal, Kenshiro might let them live. Jackal tells them to calm down. He tells them, for being a pussy, hold this. Cuts off dude's head, jumps out the window of the bar, and tosses a dynamite in there. All of his men are now dead by his own actions. Jackal is alone, and Kenshiro is waiting for him outside. He tries to do Ken like the old lady with the hidden blade, only to get his arm punched so hard it bends backwards, forcing him to give himself a permanent pat on the back. Jackal is desperate, and so he rushes over to Villainy Prison. Jackal asks the prison guards for a key that would free a certain prisoner. The guard is like, huh? You want to free him? Hell no! He just swallows the key. So Jackal just splits his skull with a sword and pulls the key out of his bloody neck. The man that Jackal is trying to free has committed 700 murders and was sentenced to death, only to survive 13 executions. They tried to hang him. They tried the electric chair. None of it worked. Show him the live-action Fist of the North Star film. I promise you, he will execute himself successfully. Whoever this dude is, his heartbeat is so loud, it could be heard through the thick metal prison door. This inmate is the personification of Satan himself. Devil Rebirth. I don't know what this dude is or how he even exists. This man has been handed a 200-year prison sentence. That means he existed long before the nuclear war. Someone this large. I thought Zed and Hart were unreasonably huge for normal human beings, but this is madness. There's no way this dude is human at all. Luckily, he's stupid. Jackal easily convinces him that he is his long-lost brother, and Kenshiro is a reason why he was locked away in his dark cell, devoid of all sunlight. Ken hears this, and he's not amused. So, Devil tosses a boulder at Ken, only for it to miss. Ken counters with an airborne roundhouse kick to the face, but Devil catches his leg, tosses man at the wall so far, he coughs blood. He has injured Kenshiro, something that few others were able to do. Shin doesn't count. Alright, he's special like Kenshiro, but Hart did that. That's something, not gonna lie. Dude jumps out from the prison, revealing that the roof of the prison was some kind of arena. Did they make a public spectacle out of this dude's executions? I could only imagine the ticket refunds, as execution after execution just resulted in failure after failure. Things get worse for Ken. Although Devil is stupid, he's a martial artist, a practitioner of Rakan Nyoken, Fist of the Arhat Deva King, a 5,000-year-old assassination art from India that predates Hokuto Shinken by 3,200 years. It was banned by the Emperor of India at the time due to its absolute savagery. Therefore, it could never be passed down from generation to generation, and it was thought to be extinct, and yet, this thing is using it. He can't be human. How long has this monster been walking this earth? To respond to the embodiment of the devil, Kenshiro reveals Hokuto Shinken to be the embodiment of Indra, king of the gods. Kenshiro powers up, his shirt tearing apart as his latent energy is unleashed. Kenshiro is now at 100% full power. Devil is so strong, he can manipulate air currents just by swinging his palms. The Fusatsu Kongoken, lethal wind of the Vajra Fist, is a blast of highly concentrated air pressure brought about by him thrusting his palms forward as if he was firing a Kamehameha. The blast was strong enough to send Kenshiro flying. Thinking he's won, Jackal is excited to kill kids, but Kenshiro has sustained 0 damage. Both Ken and Devil leap into the air, only for Devil to clap Kenshiro. Pause. Kenshiro is at 100% full power. Devil's palms explode. Kenshiro uses the Hokuto 7 star points of death, a series of punches and kicks as he descends in the pattern of the Big Dipper. Devil now has a dent in his dome. His jaw is broken, and 5 more dents are going down his body. Every injury that I have just listed explodes moments later. This dude is cooked. His body is opened up, guts flying out from his back. It's like one of those exploding whale videos you can find on YouTube. Disgusting. Jackal's got 1 arm and no devil. He's helpless. The hunt is over. He has been caught. How will he die? Devil Rebirth just snatches him up, begging for help. Jackal's trying to get out. He's struggling until he drops the bombshell. I ain't your brother. Now remember what I said earlier. Devil Rebirth is stupid. Being stupid also includes selective hearing, because he ain't responding to all that. He don't care. This man is his brother. That's it. There ain't no going back. So what does Ken do? He walks up to Jackal and he doesn't even touch him. He doesn't lay a finger on this man. He just drops a dynamite on the ground and just bombs both of them. This vicious explosion blew him in half before obliterating him along with Devil. This is the 80s, so Kenshiro has to walk away from the explosion while aura farming. This was the greatest chase. Nothing this man did was going to save him. No matter how far he ran, Ken was always faster.